Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Airsoft South Africa. In this episode we'll look at which BB is the right choice for you, and also we'll look at some events and some news, and we'll end off with user submitted video from one of the local games. Follow, like, subscribe and share. Let's talk about something very simplistic but that makes a big difference in your gun's performance and your accuracy. BBs and your BB choice. So most people know that BBs are white in color mostly. They range from lightweights, which is 0.12 grams, up to 2.2 grams, which is popular, then 2.5s and upwards to sniper level heavy BBs, which is at 0.4s and so forth. So why would you use different BBs? Which BB would be the correct BB for you? To make the right choice of BB, you should look at the FPS that the gun is shooting and what type of gun it is or device it is. So for guns, mostly if the gun is sub say 300 FPS or so, you are looking at 0.2s up to, if your gun is shooting up to say 350, 380, you can still use 0.2s. The problem that you'll have if you go higher in your FPS is that your BB will swerve up because your gun is maybe shooting at 400 and the BB is just too light. So you won't be able to set your half up correctly. So you need to then look at your BB weight and maybe change it if you're shooting higher. So if you're shooting higher, you might want to look at 0.25s or 0.28s. The reason for those is that they will be able to be shot at 400 or up to say 450 FPS. They will keep the accuracy and they will travel through wind without the issue. So when you're playing outdoors on a field sort of game, you might want a heavier BB. It also shoots through brush. The problem with a heavier BB is that people will see the BB coming to them. The BB travels slower through air, but it's more accurate. Light BBs like the 0.2s that you mostly use on pistols or lower FPS guns is also perfect for CQB games. CQB games you can shoot with your gun and you don't need to worry too much about wind and how the movement would be inside a building or inside an enclosed environment. Devices that use BBs includes grenades, claymores and other devices. Now those devices work perfectly with 0.2. You don't need to put anything heavier on there. Sometimes lighter also works, like 0.12s. Those allow for a better further spread of the 100 or so BBs that's being shot out. So with that bigger spread, you also get a bit of random travel in the air, hitting more people at the end of the day. So that's a good idea to do. Okay, so other thing that you might see is that the quality of BB also affects your accuracy. Good quality BBs like these ones, and MPs and so forth, they don't have air bubbles trapped inside them. If you cut them open, they don't have any sort of problems outside with any pitting, and they normally polished. So what would that change in your gun? Well, the accuracy, it might swerve, it might be random when you shoot. The other thing is also it might even get stuck in your barrel. Getting stuck in a barrel can also happen with BBs that has paint in them to mark people, or BBs that have got powder on them to mark people. Those are fun to play with, but they leave residue inside the barrel if shot. So it's best not to use them. Biodegradable BBs are also another option. They're fine for the environment as they break down within 2 to 3 years, but they might break when being shot from a gun onto something like a mesh goggle. Biodegradable BBs and low quality BBs have a chance of breaking and going through these goggles. So that's why a freeze rule and a bang rule is very important if you play in the games. Otherwise, try and avoid using them overly when you play close combat. The next thing that we'll look at is the color of BBs. So we mentioned whites, but you can also get green, you can also get black, pink, multiple other colors. Essentially they're exactly the same as your other BBs, but using color BBs, especially the green and black BBs, will hide your position on the field, as people can't see where the BB is traveling from. But on the other side, it's also a problem for you. You're not able to see where your BB is traveling to. So when you use these color BBs like green or black and so forth, you need to set in your sights with normal white BBs first, same weight and so forth. So your hop up and your sight will be on target, and then you swap to your color BBs. There's also one more group of BBs, and that's the glow in the dark or tracer BBs. Those are usually shot from a tracer unit, and they are lit up by an IR light that gives them the glow, so you can see where you're shooting at night. They are normally randomly scattered within your magazine, so every couple of shots you'll see where your shots are landing. So between your normal white BBs and so forth. So I'll give a link in the description below to the BB guide that I wrote a couple of years ago, which includes the ranges for weight and your FPS matching, so you can make the right decision on that. So in conclusion, choose the right BB for your specific device and also your goal that you've got in the scenario that you're in to get the best performance out of your gun. Umarex has released their product catalog. A video of this can be found in the link section below on the show notes, and this includes a 416 and much more. On Saturday we've got Fool's Revenge. That's a new shop launch that's going to happen at Snake Valley. Then we also have a big game, the final D-Day at UTAG. So that's a game that I'll also be attending. Come out and come play. On Sunday we've got KOF, and that's at Hobby Park. We've also have You Came, They Saw, Who Conquered, and that's from Smoking Aces. And lastly we've got Airsoft Pros Bush Wars, and that's in Durban. Remember, share your photos and your videos on the calendar group. See you all next week for another episode of Airsoft South Africa.